Hello, I'm Matthew Malcolm with Pacific Nut Producer Magazine, reporting to you from the beautiful Willamette Valley of Oregon. This is Hazelnut Country. I'm here with Bruce Kaser. He is one of the hazelnut farmers, actually a semi-retired attorney, but you grew up on a farm from our conversation and what we learned. You're getting back on the farm, recently got into the organic sector of hazelnuts called Frankie's Oregon Organic Hazelnuts, right?
That's correct.
Getting into the organic sector, Bruce has actually used his expertise as an attorney to take on the U.S. government in a lawsuit on some issues that he discovered in organics, some inconsistencies with what the USDA claims they do in certifying organic versus what is actually being done. And so I wanted to talk with you today. That's a pretty daring thing to do, taking on the federal government as a hazelnut grower here in Oregon, but also with your expertise as an attorney at law. Can you tell us what's the purpose of this investigation and this lawsuit?
Okay, well, what we learned as we moved into organics is that, first of all, the Oregon hazelnut industry competes largely with Turkish imports. And so we learned that Turkish organic hazelnut kernels were coming into the U.S. and being sold at a premium that was barely above the price of Turkish conventional kernels, literally 3%. And once we found that out, clearly it was something wrong. And the question is, well, why is that? The answer is that the USDA is allowing Turkish processors to slap the organic label onto their product without undergoing certifier farm inspections in the same way that we have to do it in the U.S. In the U.S., every farm is inspected by an accredited certifier. In Turkey, none of the farms are inspected by accredited certifiers. And what that means is processors over there can use the organic label off farms that are not inspected at hardly any increase in their cost of goods sold. That makes it very, very difficult for us to compete, certainly on the organic side. And in time, it's going to impact the conventional side of the industry as well.
Well, that's really important, I think, from the consumer standpoint. It sounds dangerous. People are expecting one thing from the product, and they're getting something else. So when it comes to foreign product coming in, that's just not right. But also from your point of view as a grower, it's not fair, and the competition is pretty killer because a lot of this foreign product coming in is at prices you just can't compete at that level. The high cost of farming, and you throw on organic, and as you've I'm sure learned in the last years getting involved in organic. There's a lot of extra costs that come in for certification, documentation, but also and you can't use some of the traditional chemistries and products that conventional farmers rely on. So rightfully so, there should be a premium, right? You get for organic. But this sounds like a serious issue that's not just going to impact. We're not just talking about hazelnuts. This goes for across all agricultural commodities that are imported into the U.S.
What is particularly awful about this is that the USDA has taught the American public for decades that if you see the USDA organic label, you are assured that it comes from a farm that's been certified by a USDA accredited certifier. They teach the public that. In fact, in February, they launched a national advertising campaign. They call it the Retailer Toolkit, which is intended to encourage big retailers to teach the same thing to the public. But the reality is that if it's a foreign import, it's very unlikely product comes from a certified farm. In our lawsuit, we've learned, actually the USDA has admitted that now in our lawsuit, so we're waiting for a judge to rule on it.
So that's kind of looking at where this lawsuit currently stands. And I mean, what do you really expect to get from this?
Well, what I would really hope is that the USDA starts to be honest for a change. We really need some honesty in the process. And so you can't have a national false advertising campaign telling the American public something different from what's actually going on. And what we did learn was, this is much, much deeper than hazelnuts. Hazelnuts is a small piece of it. It impacts tropical crops, bananas, cocoa, coffee, and certainly the grain crops that are coming in. They're coming in under the same kind of system that the USDA has tolerated for a long time.
Yeah, it just really compromises the integrity of organics.
That's right.
You know, I really appreciate you being willing to share this with us today. Best of luck with the lawsuit, and we hope that we can get some better transparency from USDA in the future on this matter. Read more about these things in our publications. I'm Matthew Malcolm, PacificNutProducer.com.